The old Holloway house had stood at the edge of town for nearly a century, its towering silhouette a reminder of forgotten tragedies. It was the kind of place children dared each other to approach, where the wind always seemed to howl a little louder. No one had lived there in decades, at least, no one alive. When Claire and Daniel bought it, they shrugged off the town's warnings. Ghost stories were for children, and they needed a fresh start. The house was cheap, the land sprawling, and with some renovations, it could be beautiful again. The first night, Claire noticed something odd. The air inside was thick, heavy, as if the house were breathing. The wooden floors creaked under her steps, not just from age, but from something deeper, something unseen. By the third night, the whispers started. They came at odd hours, faint murmurs in the walls. At first, Claire thought it was her imagination, or perhaps the old pipes settling. But then she heard her name. Claire. She jolted awake, heart hammering. She turned to Daniel, but he was fast asleep. She sat up, listening. Nothing. Only the steady sound of the wind against the house. Morning came, and she laughed it off. Sleep deprivation, stress, her mind was playing tricks on her. But then the scratching started. Late at night, behind the walls, beneath the floorboards, a slow, deliberate sound, as if something was trying to get out. Daniel dismissed it. Rats, he said, setting traps. But the traps remained empty. The sound never stopped. A week in, Claire found the first message. It was carved into the wooden beam above the fireplace, faint but deliberate. She called for Daniel, but when they returned, the words were gone. The wood was untouched, smooth as if nothing had ever been there. That night, Claire woke to a sharp, icy breath against her cheek. The haunting handprint. She gasped, rolling over, nothing there. But when she turned back, the words had reappeared, scratched onto her nightstand. The haunting handprint. She screamed, waking Daniel. They searched the house, but nothing was out of place. No footprints, no open windows. But as they stood in the hallway, Claire noticed something that made her stomach twist. The old, dust-covered mirror at the end of the hall was fogged from the inside. A single handprint pressed against the glass. Daniel finally admitted something was wrong. We should leave, Claire whispered. Tomorrow, he agreed. That night, the whispers grew louder. Not just one voice, many. A chorus of murmurs, rising and falling like a desperate chant. The bedroom door slammed shut on its own. The lights flickered and died. Then, the scratching sound came from under the bed. Claire clutched Daniel's arm, frozen in terror. The whispers turned to wails, high-pitched, agonized. The air turned freezing, their breath visible in the dark. Then, silence. Claire reached for her phone, her fingers trembling. But before she could dial, something moved in the darkness.
A shadow, crawling from the corner of the room.
It didn't walk. It slithered, pulling itself forward with bony fingers. Its face, if it had one, was lost in the void of blackness, its form barely human. And then it spoke. You opened the door. Claire and Daniel never made it to morning. When the police arrived, they found the house undisturbed. No sign of forced entry. No footprints. But the bed was empty. The only clue left behind was a single, chilling message, scratched into the bedroom wall. Now we're out. And the house, once eerily still, seemed to breathe again.